Hello, and welcome to this pit stop for Highlander the Duel, a game designed by Chris Castagnetto and brought to you by B&B Games. Highlander the Duel is a two-player card game taking around 15 minutes to play. In Highlander the Duel, in each round you'll have one offensive player, and that's going to alternate from round to round. At the beginning of each round, each player is going to get dealt two cards, and then they're going to draft three further ones, alternating from a face-up offer of two or one from the top of the deck. Then on their actions, they're going to each simultaneously choose a card, the Kurgan and Conor McLeod here, and they're going to flip them over. Now the offensive player is attempting to achieve a strike, and they'll do that if, when you match the cards together, any of their symbols here, or all their symbols rather, do not have a match on the other side. And in this case, the Kurgan has managed to successfully strike Conor, and he does 1 damage to him. Now you're attempting to do 12 damage to your opponent to win the game instantly. However, as you take damage, you'll gain extra powers. When Conor takes 5 damage like this, every time he is successful in defense, he does 1 damage to Kurgan. Kurgan is the opposite with 5 damage. Every time he's successful in attack, he does 1 extra damage. And they get the alternate abilities when they get to 9 damage. Kurgan's defense improves and Conor's attack improves. Now we've seen here that when there's no match, that is a strike, and that is 1 damage to the defender. The other result can be a block. In this case, Conor's right hand is blocking Kurgan's left hand, and because not all the symbols match, but at least one does, there's no further damage done here. The other option is that the defensive player correctly anticipates exactly what the attacking player is going to do, and that's called a perfect block when all the symbols line up, and that's going to do 1 damage back to the offensive player in this round. Now there are two other things for players to consider as they're playing their cards. The first thing is that every card has got an ability on the bottom of it, and you consider what you're playing as you do this. In this case, if this clash results in a block, which it did, draw a card from the combat deck, then discard a card, in this case giving Conor more options. However, for Kurgan's power on this one, if one attack position on this follow-up bar is in your 2 previous follow-up bars, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Now, what does that mean? This is the follow-up bar down here, and in this case you're going to check and see whether that handle foot has been repeated. It's only repeated back 1 here, so there's no further damage done by Kurgan. Perhaps they should have planned their follow-up bars better. Speaking of follow-up bars, every turn you're going to look to see whether any of the symbols across in the attack position up here match the previous follow-up bar. Now in this case, this left foot does, so Kurgan's fine, but Conor has planned poorly, and his left foot is not on his previous follow-up bar. That means he's managed to somehow allow Kurgan to do 1 damage to him by not planning correctly. At the end of the round, the offensive player will switch across, the players will redraw their 2 cards and then draft 3 more, and they'll continue going until one of them has taken 12 damage, in which case their opponent will be the winner of Highlander the Duel. This has been a Gamepit Pit Stop. For more videos like this, check out our YouTube channel. For more in-depth coverage of gaming, please find the Gamepit podcast. Thank you.